Hey guys, in today's video you will be learning how pawns versus pieces and how pawns can often be the winner against pieces. And today we're going to change the rules of math. I know that a knight is equal to 3 points and a pawn is only worth 1 point. But today, you're going to see the exceptions. And in this position, we're down a rook for 4 pawns. But these 2 pawns are center pawns, which makes it really great. And they're also passed pawns. They don't have any other pawns. And yes, I know, 4 pawns are not equal to 5, which equals a rook. But as you can often see, once these pawns get on the 6th rank, you just need to use your endgame knowledge. 2 connected passed pawns against 1 rook will definitely be a loss for the person who has that one rook. But you can see he has another rook, but not to fear. There's some tactics. So, anyways, we just gave a check. We don't want to trade because, then that's gone. But we did a check because this pawn is in big danger. So he does a blocking move like rook to g7. Yep, rook to g7. And now what happens is queen to e4, just defending, and then knight d7, just getting the knight in game, double pressure on this, and yes, I know we do have some. So now you have to decide which pawn pushes the correct push, either this or this. Well, this looks very tempting. This actually does. Because it does set up a discover attack, but at the same time, it's kind of useless. And once you do this, you're blocking your bishop. You're blocking your bishop from getting any dark square thing. So that is pretty bad. So that's why after you have to do e6. The bishop is happy with you now. It has all these long diagonals to attack on, and this pawn is protected, can be protected from like this, so your bishops are happy with you. Now if you did d6 also, then it just hangs a pawn too. I noticed that. And knight c5, so kicking the bishop out, and now we're just gonna trade the bishops, and I want you to pay attention on this bar right here. White is still winning even though he's down like a literal piece. Bishop takes c5, the computer recommended line. B takes c5, then d6. And these little piggies are gonna come home. Now, we have some support from the queen, and the rook will come into, and that means these 3 pieces, not king, can come in, because if this king tries to wander off here, well, he'll know that he cannot get anywhere far because, this. Yeah, so the king can't really play, but these 3 pieces cannot stop these passed pawns once they have this support too. So, after rook to d8, queen to d5, discovering, putting up a discovered check, king to h8, rook e1. Now the rook has come in and has gave the support. Rook to g6, rook e3, rook to d7, and oh, by the way, on move 8, rook e3, we're setting up a checkmate. So this rook has to do something. So that's why rook to d7 happened in this game. Rook to h3 check, rook to h7, and now we push. But what is the correct push? If you said this, then that's, I'm sorry, you're incorrect. You're incorrect. And well, that doesn't achieve anything. That really doesn't really achieve anything. The black can just do this, and there's a blockade now, and this is pretty weak because this pawn is not, because the e pawn is not there. So this pawn is pretty weak. So that's why we push d7, and black can just resign here. Because after, and notice this cannot happen, and then this, because, the king is pinned. So d7, and black can just resign because of this pin. And here are the couple more moves. Queen to d8, queen to e7. We can just push. And now that's kind of forced. He cannot take because of the pin. And that's what got this rook out of this game. If this rook was not pinning it and it was somewhere here, then we could actually do this. We could still do this, but after he sacrifices the rook, he trades the rook, but we still get it. But I mean, but he could hang on a little bit. He could hang on a little bit for more moves. But queen takes c7. Queen takes c7. d8 equals queen, check. Queen takes d8. Queen takes d8, check. d8. Okay, and actually, it's now a mate in 5. So the mate in 5 is queen to f6, check. Rook to g7. Rook to g7. Rook e3. Rook takes rook h3. Just trying to sacrifice because, I mean, he needs to do that. That's the only way, and he cannot capture the pawn because this is pinned. But also, there's kind of a cross pin too. So that's kind of weird too. So, rook e7. You can't really stop nothing now. Rook to g3. H takes g3. c4. Just a pawn push for, just pawn push when you lose, when you know you're gonna lose. So queen takes g7, checkmate, and there you have it. A rook versus a pawn. Pawn wins. Let's go to the next and final example, which is a really crazy example. Pawn versus queen. In this example, black thinks he can draw against some strong guy and plays rook a8. Queen to c5, and black says, "You can't get out of this box. Come on, just give me the draw." And he thinks he has a draw in hand. But white says, okay. No, you don't have a draw in hand. I'm going to sacrifice. I don't care about the queen. I'm not going to take your rook, so that means like I'm going to be down a lot. But And the computer likes this idea too. B4. Wow, just wow. Wow. White is saying I sacrifice my queen just because I want to sacrifice it. And he's sacrificing it for a whole armada of pawns coming in here. The queen, the rook, the bishop, and the king were not able to save themselves, and they could not get out of this mess. Rook takes c6. D takes c6. We want to open up more lines for this pawn to come if he does something like that. So that's the idea. And look at the poll. Like it's saying just 0.9. Now plus 10, plus 0.10, and that kind of means like a draw. Like this computer likes this. Queen a8. Just try. The idea is if this thing, then it falls, and it's pretty easy to create a blockade then. Oh wait, so we were back. Okay, no, in the game he did e6. Computer recommends this. Rook e to d1. Queen to b8. B takes c5. E takes d5. And you can see how this armada is gonna come down, just zooming down. And probably gonna get even 3 queens. And that's gonna be very hard to defend against. I think black should just sacrifice his queen back. And that's what he should do, actually. What he should do is, you can just do this. Okay, and your rook down. You can do this, you can do that, and then you have to get out. And it's very unpleasant, but black hangs on. So that's at least the good thing. So, rook takes d5, and rook's coming in now. There's no hope. This idea would never work because of the fact of this, and then just push, and then just maneuver your rook here, and then just zoom. And there are also ideas for here, because if the rook is on this square, if our black rook is on that square, then he could just do, he could force like a trade. A lot of arrows, but okay. Queen to e8. The idea is, after this falls, c7, queen to f7. We don't even care about the rook. We don't even guard it. b6, queen takes d5. Oops, queen takes d5. b7. And now is the time that you can just sacrifice the queen. Now is the time that you have to sacrifice the queen, because this. Now you're not gonna be down a rook, but still, the computer board just like literally says white rock this game. And after b7, he could not stop this. He could not stop this. One of our pawns is gonna come down to the finish line, and well, black cannot save himself from this mess. So let me just show you one line I analyzed. After this, then we can do this. Let's say he just makes some random move. Then we do this, and then he can't really stop this anymore because it's dark square. So one try, I mean, he has to take. And now check. And now it should be really easy. If you can't win, I mean, you should 2 queens now. You can. But yeah, that's what a power of the pawn can do. A pawn versus a queen. What? 9 points versus 1? Whoever thought that would be possible? Well, you just saw it, so now it is possible. The power of pawns is immense, especially when they reach to the end of the board and become a queen, knight, rook, or bishop. And if you don't know always which, and sometimes you don't always have to promote to a queen. You should watch my video on under promotion to learn when you should under promote or promote to something else than a queen. That's what under promoting is called. But that's a topic for another day. Go watch that video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!